Come on through, Cookie. Come on up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Love and Hip Hop New York. This is season 9, episode 8. First things first. We start right off. Yandy got an emergency hearing for Infinity. And I kind of figured that would actually happen. Well, you know, I've been through the foster system and adoptions, 2 of them. And they got her an emergency hearing, so it only took like a day or so, and they were actually able to get Infinity back into the house with them. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. So that was good. Next thing, we actually see Sin and Joe actually go ahead, and they're actually sitting with a counselor. And a lot of stuff actually ended up coming out in this process. We got the fact that Sin was actually molested by a woman when she was 5 years old. So this actually goes to why she has these trust issues, and she's not gung-ho about getting a nanny. You know what I mean? She's not with the whole nanny thing and all of that, or leaving the baby at all. She just ain't got time for all that. So now I'm understanding her more. And they came to the conclusion definitely that Sin needed more extensive counseling, and they definitely need separate counseling. Both of them. They both need things together as well as apart. But Sin needs some extensive counseling. So that's cool. I'm like, yeah, they need to move this storyline along, honey. Next we see Rich Dollars. Now this was the deep one. Rich Dollars and his mom. You know, I like Rich Dollars' mom. Rich's mom is no nonsense. She's no nonsense, and she loves that Ashley. You hear me? Her grandbaby. And all this time, we always thought Miracle had it together. Over all these seasons, we always was dogging Rich and talking about Rich does this and Rich does that, and talking about how good of a woman that Miracle was. Miracle is Ashley's mother. Miracle is a fuck-up. Miracle is a fuck-up. Miracle has been a fuck-up. Miracle has covered up her fuck-ups, carrying that Bible in her hand, but ain't been doing shit by the way the Bible say to do it. Miracle been fucking up over there. She done sat around and been, in all this time, she been in an abusive relationship and hiding it. Hiding it. All this time we thought she had it together and Rich was the one that was the big fuck up. Rich just lives a loose life, but he got it together. He got it together. There ain't no loose ends. He just loose. He got a loose little dick. But Miracle, she over there getting her ass whooped in front of her children. And Ashley is kind of trying to help cover what's going on to the younger children. Just a fucking mess over there in Memphis. I said, that is a mess. That is a mess. Here she done messed around and shot the stepdad, and now she's looking at jail time, and all along she ain't letting Ashley in on that. Ashley got it in her mind and her mother's gonna be fine. Like, it's all a self-defense thing. It's all that, well, excuse me, Ashley, you're young, but baby, there's some time on the gun alone. You know what I mean? You shooting people, I didn't know there's time. Just the whole thing about going in and taking a plea, she's just as delusional. I said, this is a mess. This is a mess. But Rich's mom was like, okay, enough with the bullshit. You need to get down there and figure out what's going on. You need to get all the details and figure out what's going on with my grandbaby, because something with this story got holes in it, and I ain't feeling it. I was like, see, I'm living for Rich's mom, honey. She told him, it's time to be a dad. You say you a good dad? It's time to be a dad. Don't come to me telling me nothing about no half a story you got and my grandbaby is involved. You go get all the details and figure out what needs to be done for my grandbaby. I was like, all right. Sure enough, he listened to his mother and got down there, honey, and shit was fucked up. Shit, it got so deep. You could see in Rich's, I felt so bad for Rich. At that point, I'm looking at his face, and he is, I mean, it was not, no, Rich ain't that good of an actor. He was stressed. He was just too fucking through with this shit with Miracle. And that bitch was sitting over there looking like the last goon. I said, well, where's your Bible now, Miracle? Where is your Bible now? Because that Bible ain't told you to be in this situation at all. And you was always quick to stand up in Rich's face and tell him what he doing wrong and what he ain't done. And meanwhile, you over there fucking it up. You over there fucking it up. Rich wasn't in the picture as much as he should have been, but you were the more abusive parent, sweetie. I hate to be the one to tell you to drag your, I think it's 3 girls, through all that bullshit, and all for what? Girl, please. That's a mess. That was a mess. I felt so bad for Rich, and then he got to crying and blaming himself and told Miracle, you know, he said, I love you to death, and I feel like it's my fault because I wasn't here to protect you. It wasn't your job to protect her. She not your woman no more. She not your woman no more. Y'all got a child together. 1. Y'all got 1 child together. The other 2 children are not your responsibility. Ain't nothing your responsibility that has to do with Miracle but Ashley. Now, that's the truth of the matter. So you don't need to be crying about nothing, Rich. That's just the cold, hard truth. Miracle should be the one crying because she done fucked this all up. It was a mess. She told him, you know, don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. And it's not. It's not. And he told her, he was like, what are you thinking? You got a plea? What do you think you're going to get out there and they're going to tell you, oh, no, girl, go on home. No, you going to jail, bitch. You going to jail. No ifs, no ands, no buts. I was like, oh, God. Then they went on and brought Ashley in and got her up to speed on kind of what's really going on. I said, oh, this is a mess, honey. Thank God for Rich's mother, honey. Because could you imagine if that shit had gone on further and Ashley be faced with sitting in court by herself and then they tell her mother ain't coming home and they get ready to go to foster care and her sister's going to be separated out or whatever. A mess. Now they got a chance to get a hold of it. And that's what Rich said. I got the money. I'm going to get this taken care of. I'm going to bring on some people. We're going to get some character witnesses. And we're going to get it together. You know, now I said, oh, Jesus. A mess. A mess. Delusional. Completely delusional. Who grown is really that delusional? I said, oh, my God. I was too through with her. Too through. Anyway, and that's just a good lesson to us. You only see a little bit on camera. You can only believe a little bit of what you see on camera because we swore by damn that Miracle had it together. Oh, yeah, she's so cool. She ain't shit. Anyway, moving on. So, Judy, and you know Judy really gets on my nerve. Man, DC's mother, child, that Judy. I could take that Judy and give her some of this, honey. Judy is a mess. She jumps in there. She really... I don't know if Judy really likes Yandy or really don't like Yandy because it's like she always jumps at any opportunity to like prove that Yandy is messy or that Yandy don't know what the fuck she's doing. And that's what it was. You know, when she's talking about Infinity being in the house and her being around, those are my grandchildren. She said, yeah, those are my children. Those are my children. And, you know, and it was offensive for you to act like I don't have good enough sense to make decisions when it comes to those children. I said, girl, Judy, you're a lot, girl. You're a lot. But, in this case, Judy was a little bit right because Yandy don't have the whole story on Infinity. But, again, Yandy knew enough about Infinity and has dealt with Infinity long enough. She dealt with her for a few years in the mentor program to know that she's not a threat to the children now because those children love her. Those children love her. So she was able to make an informed decision about bringing her into the house. But of course, there's always some parts of foster care that you're not going to know because they don't tell you everything. They're not even allowed to tell you everything. There are HIPAA laws and there are other laws and things in place that protect those children. They're not allowed to give you their whole story. They're not. They're not. So that was the thing. And we ended up going into this whole thing. After talking to Judy, you know, she got Judy in her place. But then she went and she met with Infinity's birth mom. I wasn't impressed by the birth mom at all. I know all stories have 3 sides, and all roads lead back to the Ford Motor Company. Honey, shout out to my girl in that. But that mother, I mean, she was having some problems with Infinity, and then she said she sent her on to the grandmother, and then Infinity was still cutting up, and then the grandmother was like, okay, girl, enough, and then she went on into the system. Now, I don't know if there's some more to that they're not telling. I don't know that I'd have threw her into the system because she's sneaking out. Sneaking out and doing exactly what? You know, and they didn't say like she was fighting her or anything like that, but I can imagine that there was probably some arguments, but they just kind of, the way that they just kind of just threw it out there was like they just kind of gave up on her kind of easy. But I got a feeling that it was a little deeper than that. It was a little deeper than that, a little more that's not being said. And, you know, for time restraints, we just got to put it up there like this. But she got like 6 kids. You know, she had 6 kids. And then from what Infinity is saying, because Infinity ended up getting pissed off with Yandy when she found out that Yandy went to meet up with her mother. And you only got pissed off, Infinity, because your ass is being grown. And you knew that you told some lies to Yandy and that she was going to be found out, so you going to pull another string. And, you know, you're doing too much. You got the foster kid thing going on. You're doing too much, and you told some lies. She led Yandy to believe that she been back and forth and from house to house since she was real young. That she's always been in the system, and she's only been in the system for, I think it's been less than a year. You know, so you told some lies. You got a lot of your mama in you, you know what I mean? There's some shit. There's some shit going on, and there's some background story going on, and I think for this purpose, I think Mona and Yandy made some good decisions here and left some things blurry for us and a little bleak because you don't want to tell her whole story, and then some of it you legally can't go tell on television like that. She ain't old enough to decide that she want her story told like that. But I believe Miss Infinity was a little bit of a handful. A little bit of a handful. Trust me, I got two handfuls of my own. 2 of them. So, you know, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into dealing with a child who has been abandoned by their birth parents. There's a lot that goes into it. Don't let anybody fool you and you think that foster care is all roses and boxes of chocolates, because it's not. It is not. Trust me when I tell you. That's a whole nother story for another time. But bam it, I'm off my soapbox and let's move on. So we had all that go on. Yandy told her, you know, I got you. I got your back. Whatever it is, don't lie to me. I got you. So it don't matter what went on before. I got you. I was like, come on, Yandy. I've been liking you real good, Yandy, for the last 2-3 episodes. You keep this up, bitch. This is good shit. Anyway. So next thing I see, I was like, oh, God, no. Well, as soon as I seen the 2 of them together, I just got a feeling in the bottom of my stomach, honey. And that was Sydney Starr and Jonathan. I was so not here for it. I'm so not here for the 2 of them being paired up together because they're both absolutely out of order. So I just said the 2 of them together is going to give me a headache. I could just tell. And Sydney come in there with this little dress, looking like a whore, titties out, dressed real short. And then the way she was acting when she's with Jonathan, she turned all the way up. This is one of my issues when it comes to some trans women. My whole thing of when you become a trans woman, when you decide to transition, your whole thing is to actually be able to blend with society as a woman. Okay? So there are certain behaviors and certain mannerisms that I feel should fall by the wayside. Okay? No matter what crowd you're in. I can blend in any crowd and I don't have to be like them. I can blend in with a straight crowd. I go to heterosexual bars all the time and clubs and events and I don't have any problems. I don't sit around and try to pretend to be like them. I'm just me. But my flame is not up as high as it is if I'm in the gay bar. You know what I mean? So there's a time and a place for everything. There are some behavior traits that need to fall off. When you're a trans woman, I'm going to say this, and this is not going to be politically correct, so just get ready, y'all. This ain't PC, so I don't give a damn. When you're a trans woman, when you decide to trans, stop acting like a sissy. Act like a woman. Stop acting like a sissy. There's no point in you becoming a trans woman and standing around giving, yes, Miss Thing. Oh, hold on, Miss Honey. Woo, bitch. All that. Women don't do that. And the women that do that, we look at like this. The Tamar Braxtons of the world. The Nene Leakes of the world. See where I'm going? See where I'm going? Quad. Mariah. See where I'm going? And Quad does know when to turn it off. Quad has learned when, because in the beginning, when Married to Medicine first came on, Quad and Mariah, they were ridiculous. And I'm going to give it to Mariah too. Mariah has learned some of when to turn it off as well. Some of when to turn it off. But there's times when Quad does it and when Mariah does it where they have this gay man thing going on, and it's like, so if we're looking at them and they're heterosexual women, you know when you're a trans woman, we're looking at you like, girl, you're clocking yourself. Anybody else clocking you, you're clocking yourself. The Miss Thing, Miss Honey, Miss Woo, girl, all that old bullshit, cut it out. And this is what Sydney was bringing to the table. As soon as she got with Jonathan, it was ridiculous. Do you know how long we questioned Anais about whether or not she was a trans woman or not because she act like a big old sissy? And Sydney sat up in here and it was Anais 2.0. I was like, oh my God. They were on my nerves within the first 30 seconds. First of all, Jonathan sitting on camera, and I hope when you watched it back, Sydney, you saw Jonathan sat and clowned you, bitch. You got on there, you rapped for him, and he gave you all that, shaded you. He shaded the fuck out of you, your so-called friend. Shaded you, honey, for camera time. Clowned you down. And then that whole thing of, let me suck your nipple. And you pulled your titty out in the middle of the bar. Y'all ain't in a gay bar. And that's not even necessary in a gay bar, any bar. Why are you pulling your titty out and he's sucking your titty? Jonathan, why are you sucking her titty? You don't suck titties on a regular basis. Well, I don't know. I take that back. Because I remember you and Anais, y'all did have threesomes and stuff. So maybe you are one of those titty suckers, honey. But regardless, in the bar, it was so inappropriate. It was so tacky. And y'all both looked ridiculous. I was done with it. Done with it. I hated it. As soon as I seen the two of them paired up, I was like, this is not going to be good. Anyway, later on we see Sydney and Naya end up going at each other again. And where are they at? At an event with Jonathan. Now the two of them done fell out. They going back and forth with each other. Sydney is sitting there. She done redid that navy blue dress that Naya gave her. She done cut the sides out. It looked a mess. It looked a mess. It was giving you complete host roll. You took a nice dress and turned it into a host roll outfit. I said, that looks ridiculous. Your entrance was ridiculous. Yes, it's Sydney. Sydney Star, yes, the transgender girl. Stop it. Stop it. Damn. I'm so tired of you walking around like you got a hat and a shirt that says she got a dick on it. I'm so sick of it. Damn, Sydney. It's going to be one thing or the other. Either you're going to be a clown or you're going to be a woman. Which one is it going to be? Because you can't be both. You're on my nerves now, bitch. You're getting on my nerves. I'm not going to be Team Sydney in a minute. I'm telling you. This is you right back to where we started. You on here clowning your community. Completely clowning. People sucking your nipples in bars. You wearing these host roll clothes to events. Acting stupid, being loud, putting the spotlight on yourself. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me, the girl with the ding dong. Hey, that's not your brand. That's not your brand. There ain't but one bitch that I know who could pull that shit off, and that's her brand, and that's T.S. Madison. That was her brand, and guess what? After a while, she switched her brand, and she moved away from it too. Girl, bye. Bye. She got on Nia's nerves. Her and Nia end up going back and forth. Nia end up leaving. Now I told her, look, you look ridiculous. And she was actually right. She walked off. She left. Anyway, moving on. There was a double date. I was like, oh, y'all just threw this in there. Remy and Pap with Joe and Sin. And Pap done told him, y'all need to just get married, and then y'all vows will make y'all straighten up. I don't know about that, Pap. You go sit down. And Remy was kind of looking, and Joe was like, okay, give us the check. Pap's tripping. I was like, yeah, totally tripping. Anyway, that's basically all that we covered in New York this week. I'll catch y'all next week. Sydney, I'm telling you, bitch, you need to get your shit together. Get your shit together. Spend more time trying to get them goddamn bars together and less time with this foolishness. Because that rap from week to week is not getting better. The more you do anything, at some point it gets better. You keep saying you want this week to week, the shit ain't getting no better, girl. You was rhyming in the beginning. The shit ain't even rhyming now. You just talking, bitch. Cover up your titties and stop acting a damn fool. Anyway, I'll see y'all next week. Later.